happy friends. Today we are making Spikey's banana bread. To start, you're going to need some pecans and we're going to roast them so then afterwards we can put them inside of our banana bread. So first we need to measure how many pecans we're going to be using. So I'm just going to put this bag into this cup so we can see how much of it we're going to be using today. So let's see. It's around just under 2 cups. You need 2 cups of pecans, and also remember that you're going to be using some to put on top to decorate the banana bread. So you're going to be turning it on to front medium, so around a 5 or a 6. And happy tip, make sure that you're always careful around a stove. These can be really unsafe and you don't want to touch it because then you could get burnt. And always make sure that you're doing it with an adult. So just pour it in here. So we're gonna wait a couple minutes because we are going to add some maple syrup in to make it a bit sweeter and yummier. But right now we just need to wait for the pecans to begin to roast because they need to warm up and just get a bit roasted already. Now in the meantime, while these pecans are starting to roast, we're going to take 3 of these bananas and we are going to mash them up and prepare them for our bread. So just tear them off like that. So now we are going to just place our bananas into the bowl. Just unpeel them and yeah, just transfer them in. And just place the peels to the side. We'll throw them out to the compost soon. Happy tip, the easiest way for me to open a banana is just by peeling it from the top and pulling from the place that attaches to all the other bananas. But if you have a way or method that works best for you, just use that. So now it's time to add the maple syrup into a cup so then we can add it to the pecans. So we're just going to measure out for about 1/4 of a cup. And let's just pour some of that in. I love maple syrup. I always add it like on pancakes or crepes, so you can't go wrong with it. All right, now it's time to pour it in. Now add just a pinch of salt. You don't need too much, just enough to flavor the pecans a bit. Now it's time to turn the heat down a little bit more just to make sure that the maple syrup doesn't burn. So turn it down to a low. Happy tip, make sure not to touch the pecans while they're on here because sugar can get really, really hot and we don't want to burn ourselves. But you can feel free to try some afterwards. So now we are going to mash our bananas that are in these bowls. And I'm just gonna use one of these big mashers, but if you don't have one of them, it's okay. You can totally just use like a fork or a knife, whatever works. So just push down. It will take a little bit of strength. If you want, you can get a parent to help you with this or to take over. But just make sure to keep mashing over and over again. And when they kind of resurface on top, that you just kind of dump it back in so that you can mash all of them together. Now we just need to mix these up a little bit again so that they don't burn. Now we're going to take a piece of non-stick aluminum foil and we're just going to stretch it out a bit like this and put it right here. So then now we can transfer our pecans over to the piece of aluminum foil so that they don't stick or get anywhere that we don't want them to. Also, make sure to spread them out because the sugar will start sticking on things, and if they're all in a big pyramid, that's probably not the best way for us to then put them into our banana bread. All right, so for our next step, we are going to use our bowl of mashed bananas as wet ingredients, and we are first going to just crack 2 eggs. Happy tip, if you don't feel comfortable doing this alone, you can always have a parent or someone who feels more comfortable doing it instead. I know when I was younger, I hated cracking eggs because I was really scared not doing a good job of it. And so I always let my sister Mercedes do it. So now we have our 2 eggs right here and we're just going to pour it into the bowl with the mashed bananas. And since my hands are a little bit sticky now from cracking these eggs, we're gonna go throw these out and wash my hands. So I just got back from washing my hands and I realized that I think Spikey got to our pile of pecans. This is not good at all. Spikey clearly was very hungry before having finished the banana bread, but that's okay because we always have more pecans and we can always make some more. Next, we're just gonna add a little bit of vanilla extract. It really depends on your personal preference, but I usually like to add around more like a tablespoon, but that's because me and my family and Spikey are very big vanilla lovers. So really depends on how much you and your family like. Next, we are just going to be mixing eggs with bananas and vanilla extract. So now we're just going to add a pinch of salt. We are also adding salt to the mix because it helps enhance all the flavors in here. But if you add too much salt, it can become too overpowering and then you lose all those flavors that you were trying to enhance. Now we are going to add a cup of sugar because we want it to be sweet but not too sweet, and I know for sure I definitely have a sweet tooth. All right, now we're just going to add in our cup of sugar. Look at that. All right, now we have all of our sugar in here, so now we're just going to mix it all together in our mixture. This looks very, very yummy. Now it's time to add 2 cups of flour. So let me just grab a big spoon because that'll help me transfer the flour from here to here. I just like to scoop as much as I can onto as big as a spoon that I can find and just try to make it go as fast as I can. Also, happy tip, make sure that once you put flour into the cup that you shake it down a little bit, because if it's all powdery like this, it can be really hard to know where you're actually at. So all you have to do is just shake it down a little bit like this, and all of a sudden it evens out and you know exactly how much you have in your cup. It's time to add the flour in. So you're going to try to want to fold it in like this instead of just stirring aggressively. I know when I was younger, I would always just try to make like a big circle and kind of start like a potion, but instead you want to take it from underneath and then put it on top. That way the flour gets incorporated everywhere and your banana bread actually becomes very fluffy. So before you finish fully incorporating the flour, you're going to want to add your magic baking powder and your baking soda. Because my baking powder has very little left, approximately 2 teaspoons. I'm just going to pour this out here, but you should 100% measure it out before you add it in. And now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of our baking soda. I found it. So here is a bit of a happy tip as well. So once you scoop up your teaspoon of baking soda, you can see that it's a little bit uneven here. So what you want to do is first shake it so that it's all kind of even, and then you're going to take your finger and you're going to run it across. This way you get rid of all your excess powder because you want exactly 1 teaspoon, not a little bit extra here and there. Happy tip, make sure that you're doing this supervised, or a parent or someone who you trust and is older than you is cutting this or watching you, because using a sharp knife like this can be very dangerous and you don't want to cut yourself. As well, make sure that you're keeping your fingers away from the knife itself and that it's at the near end, because you don't want any risk of touching the actual blade of the knife itself. So I have the butter right here, and I'm just going to add it to a cup, and we're going to place this in the microwave and microwave it for about 15 to 30 seconds until it is fully melted, and then we're going to add it to the batter. All right, it's time to pour this into our batter. Look at that. And now we can mix it in. Now it's time to start to preheat the oven, as well as then we're going to cut up our pecans with the help of a parent, or they're going to supervise. So let's go turn on the oven first though. So first we're just going to put it on to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then our oven will start to heat up as we prepare the batter and we cut up the pecans. All right, so now I have a cutting board, and I'm also going to grab a big knife so then we can cut up our pecans and get them all chopped up and ready for our batter. Clearly Spikey was back at all the pecans because We don't have too many, but that's okay. We can just cut them up to be a little bit smaller, and I'm sure that it will still be amazing banana bread. Happy tip, the idea of having such a big knife like this means that you can put your hands like this, so you're cutting down on the pecans, except your fingers are nowhere near the knife, they're on top pressing down, like this. So now you can either make your banana bread into a banana bread, or you can also turn them into muffins. We're turning them into muffins because it'll be a lot easier to share with friends, family, bring to school, and just overall will also make the baking time a lot shorter. So when you're putting it in a pan though, it will be a lot longer though, and more for like around an hour long. While having banana bread muffins, these will probably go in for 20-25 minutes. We're also going to be using the pecans since Spikey came in and raided our stash a little bit. We're just going to be using them as decoration on top, but if you have more, you can also mix them in and just have them inside the batter as well as on top for decoration. We are using parchment paper lining cups. They're not as pretty, but there's always less of a residue left on it, and that way you get more of your banana bread, even though they're not as cute or as pretty as they could be. So now grab a spoon, smaller than your original spoon, and just pour some into the cups. And just keep doing this until they are fairly full, not all the way straight to the top because you want to leave room for expansion. Now that we have the batter in the liners, it's time to put some of our pecans on top for a little bit of decoration plus extra flavors. I secretly tried the batter already, and it is tasting absolutely delicious. And I'm gonna let you in on one of my personal favorite secrets, is that I don't think you should ever have a recipe that you don't taste test, because how are you sure that it doesn't taste bad? You always need to taste test it, in my opinion at least. All right, now happy tip, make sure that you grab a glove before putting it in the oven, or allow a parent or friend who is more comfortable with putting in stuff in a hot oven, because this is not exactly a good guide to get burnt in. So all you gotta do is just place it inside and then set a timer for us. Since we're using cupcake liners and we're making them into muffins, they're gonna cook for 25-30 minutes. But if you're making a traditional banana bread in a big container, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna bake it for around an hour. All right, now the muffins are ready. Let's take them up. Ooh la la, those are looking yummy. Now before we eat them, we just need to wait for them to cool, because otherwise they're going to be way too hot. I think I'm going to try this one. All right, time for the ultimate taste test. It's hot, but really yummy. Try these for breakfast, lunch, or even for a yummy little snack. I hope you guys enjoy. Bye, happy friends.